Motherfucking sports. What's up, motherfuckers? Crew members. It's Mr. Headquarters, man. This Mr. Headquarters, man. Got EJ the DJ to my left of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
What it do?
sir.
What it do? What it do, man?
What's going on, boss man? What's going on with you?
Ain't nothing, man. You already know what it is. It's the motherfucking podcast with our special edition every Tuesday night. Motherfucking sports show here on YouTube. Make sure y'all check us out. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all join us in the chat. Make sure y'all check out all the merch, the downloads, all on our platform, themotherfuckerpod.com. Get the merch, get the black and white hat, get the black and red like EJ the DJ is sporting right now. Get the motherfucking dog tags, get the motherfucking shirt, get the motherfucking mask, protect yourself. Make sure y'all check us out. Join the crew. It only costs $1 per month to get exclusive content. And make sure y'all join us on our platform. And as always, make sure you download all our motherfucking episodes. Season 4 is getting ready to jump off. We got a full pack, jam-packed season. But tonight we talking sports tonight, bro. The NBA playoffs is in now round 2. We got some games going on in action tonight. We got the Bucks and Celtics play early tonight, and we got the Warriors taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. We're gonna be talking about the NFL draft results. A lot of shit went down, a lot of trades. If we have time, we might even get into some additional sports news later on in the show. But without further ado, EJ the DJ, man, what it do, man? Like we got a lot going on, man. What did you take away from round 1 of the NBA playoffs?
Man, like the only thing I gotta say is I'm a defensive person by heart, and
Right?
it warms my heart to see 5 defensive players go first in the NBA draft in the NFL draft. Excuse me, the NFL draft in round 1. Uh, of course, we got Trayvon Walker from Georgia going first. He's going to Duval. You got Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan man from Notre Dame, going to Michigan, going to Detroit Lions, really going like staying right there in Detroit, Michigan, going to Detroit Lions. Representing out of the LSU district, the DBU University, you got the man Derek Stingley Jr. He's headed to Houston, H-Town. He's going to try to live it up there. And then, of course, this kid here who I'm really interested in seeing how he plays. They call this boy Sauce. He is heading up to Broadway to New York Jets. We'll see what he does out there and see if he can turn something around. And Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon is headed to the New York Giants as well. So you got 5 defensive players going first into the NFL draft. The one shocking trade, I believe, was AJ Brown from Tennessee going to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right. Yeah, that was the big trade.
That was the big trade of the night. That was the
Right.
big trade of the night.
And EJ the DJ is talking about the NFL, by the way. Yeah, the NFL draft had a lot of different turns. The Saints moved up in the draft too.
To pick the players we wanted.
They picked the players that they wanted. I think it was a bit of a stretch. I think it was a bit of a stretch for the player that they went out and got. I feel like they could have probably got him at 16. Um,
Well, I mean,
in
the
my
thing
opinion,
about it, yeah, the
or
thing
could have
about
got
it
somebody
was,
just as equal value. There's a lot of
yeah,
receivers in this draft.
yeah, there was a lot of receivers, but they got the one that they wanted. Let's keep
Yeah,
in mind that this kid was highly wanted by the Saints. They was hoping nobody would land this kid. And after the first 5 players with defense, you had 2 offensive linemen. Then it started going into the wide receivers. You had Drake London going to Atlanta, them Dirty Birds. You had Charles Cross, the old lineman. He's actually headed to Seattle out of a Denver trade, I want to say. And then Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. That was the other wide receiver. He's headed to the Jets. And then
Now, pre-production, you was talking about the Cowboys. Why you felt like that they didn't bring out, uh, they didn't have their best draft, right?
well,
You
I,
say you wasn't happy with the them taking the offensive
I
lineman.
I wasn't happy at all. I really don't give a damn about the Cowboys, to be honest with you. But I was surprised that they would pick an offensive line, even though that's what they need. I was very,
Yeah, I'm
very
about to say they need
surprised.
it.
They needed it,
They
but
got a couple things
when
they
have
need
they
on that line.
ever picked somebody that they needed?
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Jones went out and got who they got. I mean, this is a guy that drafted CD Lamb in the first round
Yeah,
when they clearly needed defense and help on offensive linemen. And then he looked up last year and got Michael Parsons. He looked up and got that one. That was literally 11 from heaven, as Skip Bayless from Undisputed likes to say. But
yeah. To kind of go back to the Saints though, it made sense for everything that that went down because they went after a couple players that they wanted and they didn't get out of free agency. They wanted to keep Teron Armstead. They wanted to I'm blanking on who else they wanted to get. That they didn't, oh, they wanted to get the quarterback. They wanted to get damn, I'm bringing on his name. Went to Cleveland.
mhm.
Watson.
They wanted to get Watson, but they decided to stick with Jamison. Plus, the price tag was too high, as you alluded to. The price tag was too high for the Deshaun Watson.
Well, yeah. Only team that was able to that was actually in the running was able to pay him that he wanted was
Was
Cleveland.
obviously
But
Cleveland.
I think
Obviously,
that in my opinion, I think they kind of dodged the bullet with that because of the fact that with everything that was going on, there was going to be a lot of damn public media all over the coverage of this, all over him. There's going to be probably protests. I would be assuming when he actually does play his first regular season game. So I think as a Saints fan, you kind of happy with that because you get to miss all the bullshit that would come with that.
right?
But
But
Jameis is now the quarterback. Jameis is the guy. Taysom Hill is now a tight end slash I don't know what else to call him. I guess he's kind of like wherever they need him.
yeah,
You
whatever
might
he's
you might
needed,
don't be surprised you're gonna see him at running back a lot in the beginning of the season because
and don't forget wideout.
Alvin Kamara is gonna be hurt. I mean not hurt. He's gonna be probably suspended. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of different things. I think the defense for the Saints though definitely made a major improvement with getting Tyrann Mathieu as a free agent.
Honey Badger,
Signing
on
him to a
behalf of
3-year
the
deal.
MF and podcast, welcome back home, brother.
Right. So shout out to him for coming back. Shout out to Tyrann Mathieu, man. Coming home. That man said he wasn't taking no motherfucking discount though. He said, "Yo, y'all need to get that money right." That I think, me personally, I think that's why they probably traded a few of those picks to make room for some extra cash. It made some room, uh, trading away. I don't know how that worked out as far as the financial prospects of everything, but they was able to find enough money to scrape up to go ahead sign them, and lock up probably one of the deepest on paper defenses in the league coming into this season. So my only thing is shoring up the offense. So the Saints went and did that. They went and got an offensive lineman. They replaced in an attempt to replace Teron Armstead. They went out and got a receiver to help complement Michael Thomas and see if he can be the old version of himself. He's been away from his championship level, but for 2 years now. So we're gonna see what's happening. We're gonna see what's up.
Yeah, I was under the impression that we may get Jamison Williams from Alabama. I was wondering if we was going to pick him up.
Do you want it?
Not really who I wanted, but I was like, we could pick any wide receiver at this point. So just pick
That's
who
how I
was
was looking at it.
available.
That's how I
What's
was
up?
looking at it.
We could pick anybody at this point. So anybody who's a solid number two. But as I was thinking, and shout out to Brandon Janot from the Brandon Janot show. He alluded to this as well too. Because he actually picked Chris Olave to come to the Saints. Chris Olave is he's a number two, and he's also from Ohio State, which we have this history of drafting Ohio State players. I don't know why, but it works. We got a plug down there in Ohio State, and I'm cool with it.
I'm mad at it.
I'm not mad at it at
I'm
all.
not mad at it.
But
keep up the tradition at this point. Shit.
yes.
But that shit work.
Yes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
You read my mind. But I do believe that if Jamison Williams was on this squad, see, when healthy, he's a number one receiver. And he would have probably take that job away from Mike Thomas. Now, under my impression was, okay, we could still draft Jamison, and that will kind of fire up Mike Thomas. Like, hey, they brought in somebody who could definitely replace your ass if you continue to act up.
If you really think about it, this receiving core is kind of low key loaded with a lot of players in a way.
Oh, absolutely.
Now you got Marquez Callaway added to the. You also have Olave now being drafted. You got Michael Thomas coming back. They re-signed.
Harris.
Go ahead.
Devontae Harris. They got him included in it. They got
right.
Traquan
They got Deontay Harris, and they re-signed. I'm blanking on another receiver name that they re-signed.
Traquan Smith.
There you go. Trevonte Smith,
who's a speedster. I'll give him credit. He's definitely a speedster, and I'm looking forward to having a full season.
Speedster, though he's not as fast as we would like. I think that's the reason why we drafted Olave. I think he can't stretch the field as much as they need him to.
Right.
But it is interesting to see how they're gonna work these guys in. That's why I was surprised that they wanted a receiver so badly. I think maybe they're thinking that maybe somebody's not gonna work out here. I still would say keep an eye out on Michael Thomas being traded. I know everybody's saying that everything's good in the hood with Michael Thomas right now. Don't be surprised if things don't go as planned. One of these players ain't gonna, because there's just too many spots to be made. There's only 2 starting spots for this receiving core.
Right.
Who's gonna be the main two? I'm guessing it's gonna be Callaway and Michael Thomas being the starters.
Well, potentially, because what it is, you gotta look at it from this perspective too. Anybody that gets drafted in the first round, they come expecting you to start. I don't care what number you are.
I don't expect him to start his first year.
Well, listen though. The thing about it is, Chris Olave, like his route running capabilities is premium. That's what they really liked about him, is his route running capabilities.
Right.
So you put him on the side of Mike Thomas, and plus they from Ohio State, so Mike Thomas can probably coach this kid up and get his attitude back on track. Like, hey, we got your number 2 now, so no more complaining. Let's go ahead and get this done. So now you got to find a rhythm with Jameis. You got to find a rhythm to get into this offense. And I'm looking forward to seeing Juan Johnson healthy at that tight end spot, because he is going to be a safety net for us coming into this offensive season. So I believe our offense is going to be straight. Once again, we still don't know the situation between Alvin Kamara. We hoping that gets resolved soon. He's probably going to get suspended for a couple of games. Yeah. So he's probably going to get suspended
at least a month.
At least a month. But after that month, we'll be ready to go, and we'll get some wins, and we'll just see what happens, man. But I'm looking forward to my defense on the defensive side of the ball. I've been advocating for Tyrann Mathieu to come back home, and he did. And like you said, we had to get the money right. We got the money right. He accepted it.
Man, $11 million a year, $18 million guaranteed, $33 million on a 3-year deal.
And I'm telling people right now, he is worth every penny.
I like the fact that you gonna have Marshawn Lattimore. You got a Debo at the corners. You also got CJ Johnson coming through the slot.
That's gonna be
every now and then being at the safety position. Then you got Marcus May.
That's gonna be nasty.
The secondary is crazy.
This is going
My
to be a
only
next.
my only issue I have is potentially the run defense because of the fact of the weakest point on this defense is the linebacking core. And sometimes the uncertainty at the defensive tackle spot. So I would say overall, I think this team should still be a top 10 defense. Um, I just I just think about the certain teams that are gonna be the bigger offensive lineman teams that's run first that will be giving the Saints problems in the future. I
Well,
would believe.
we were still the number one run defense in the league thus far. Like ever since we had it, we had no problems stopping the run. It was just a matter of just past efficiencies, man. They will catch us slipping sometimes. Now that we shortified the secondary, we could probably ease the load on Quan Alexander and Mario Davis and let them headhunt and do what they do in the run defense. Um, like I said, man, I'm big on defense. I really wish we could have used one of these edge rushers and give us some little extra oomph in the pass. But I'm happy with the result. I'm definitely happy with the result. We got the players we needed. Hopefully we can do make some noise in free agency to see if we can pull an edge rusher coming off of that linebacker spot. And if we do, all up from there. Jameis, I'm not asking you to be great. I'm just asking you to be solid, bro. You ain't gotta pull anything out your behind. You ain't gotta do nothing crazy. You gotta do nothing spectacular, man. Just be solid, bro. This offense now runs behind you. You are the captain. You are the general. You are the field general. So just run your offense. Everything will handle itself, and we should be straight.
So what's your expectations for Jameis and the Saints next season?
My expectation is playoffs. My expectation is playoffs.
Okay.
Uh, as far as deep into playoffs, well, with the NFC looking the way it is right now, and everybody heading over to the AFC, I can see us going deep.
Okay.
But at some point in time, Jameis Winston, you gonna meet up with your former team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, still with Tom Brady at the helm. So you gonna meet up with them soon in the playoffs. So hopefully you can get past them. And if you can get past them, it's all up from here.
Yeah, I agree. Also though, also moving on to your team, one of your favorite teams, the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, bro, come on
Uh,
now.
they they
Don't do that.
drafted
Don't do this.
they drafted Malik Willis in the third round. Uh, which I ain't gonna lie to you, I kind of felt like the Saints should have drafted him in the second round. I feel like the Saints should have drafted him somewhere. Um, for the future because I don't believe in Ian Book as a future. Sometimes
No,
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I have felt that a little shaky about Jameis. Now, statistically, he had a great year last year, but let's not forget people that actually watched them games. He had some
that Carolina
very
game. Ooh.
he had some questionable games in there where he had some questionable throws where luckily there was some drop picks that he just threw up in there because he was getting pressure. So
That
people like to
Carolina
point to his
game.
14 touchdowns, three picks. Yeah, that was great, look great on paper. But the eye test says Jameis Jameis is a very good quarterback, but sometimes he makes a few bad decisions when he's getting pressured in the pocket. So I do like the fact that them getting an offensive lineman to protect him. I think that was a given. That was the number one thing that they had to go
Yeah.
get. But also we need to have Jameis making some better decisions. Um, and I
Well,
think giving him some more options on the offensive level as far as receiving core, perfect. Do that. I'm happy that they got him another weapon on offense.
but you was looking
Um,
more to the future.
right. I'm looking at the future and also uh emergency purposes. What if James gets hurt again? What if that
Well,
knee goes out again? What if he gets hurt somewhere else? He's had a few injuries in his career, not a lot to be worried about, but uh I also would like the fact that having some kind of competition behind James. Look, somebody needs to push him now because Drew Brees ain't there. You don't have that extra extra mentorship. So let's see if Jameis can kind of get to that next level because he needs to get to that next level as a quarterback. If the Saints think about being a championship caliber, they got the defense. They got the defense to
Well,
do their thing. So
right.
I ain't worrying about the defense as much. I'm more worried about that offense. Start off as a season, we got to have a good start because, like we said, Kamara's not going to be there in the beginning of the season most likely. Michael Thomas got a big question mark on him. The offensive line. We don't know if how great that offensive line is going to hold up. I think it should be fine. And then also you got a new head coach. It's a new regime. Um, the head coach now, he didn't have the best track record from his first time being a head coach. So let's
But
see if
he's
the
a hell of
Saints
a
can kind of,
defensive coordinator.
and he's also defensive minded. So Pete Carmichael is going to be calling the plays if I'm right.
Yep.
So we're going to actually see him step into a more bigger role um
And he's been
with the
calling the
Saints.
plays for the longest, like instituting the offense. So
Yeah,
he
but
knows Sean Payton's offense like the
Sean
back of
Payton
his
had the
hand.
final say so.
Right. That's all it
Um,
was. Now he's
I,
gonna have the final say so. That's it.
I think Pete Carmichael is gonna have a more of a bigger role with this now moving forward. We're gonna actually see if he's actually the evil little genius that he's supposed to be on the offensive side as the Sean Payton protege. So we'll see what the fuck is gonna go down. I think playoffs is definitely in the future. I think they can even contend for the uh for the, the for the division against the Bucks because I think Carolina is still fucked up a little bit. I think
Atlanta's still messed up.
I think Tampa Bay is gonna be still good. I think I have no doubt about that. And
We'll see what happens.
what's that?
We'll see what happens.
What do you think?
We shall
What do you
see what
think?
happens. I hey, Tampa Bay, you lost a lot of people, especially on that defensive side. You lost a lot of people. You didn't really bring back everyone. So
No,
with that being said,
and you
I
lost your
understand.
head coach.
Yeah, you lost your head coach, but you gained one in Todd Bowles, so you'll get the defensive structure out of him. But alluding to what you said about the quarterback situation, uh if you look really closely at this draft, there was only two quarterbacks that was really popular, and this draft was heavily in defense, offensive linemen, and wide receivers. So of course, early on, you see everybody beefing up trying to get their edge rushers because now that's a premium position now. Damn near close to quarterbacks now. That's premium position. You got a quarterback, you need somebody that can rush the quarterback. So you see Jacksonville saying, okay, we got a star on the offensive side of the ball. Now need to get a star on the defensive side of the ball, and let us go ahead and put asses in seats. So of course they went ahead and got a defensive person, which I have no problem with it. But the Saints are in a mode to where they ain't looking towards the future. They looking to win now. And that's the mentality that everybody has ever since Rams done pulled off all these trades. Because if you notice, Rams couldn't pick a trade. They couldn't even pick a player to save their life. They didn't traded their whole future just to win
They
now.
still
And that's the
they still
mentality
built
that
to win
teams
now.
have. Yeah, they're still built to win now. So
Yeah.
they ain't even worried about the future. So the
No.
Saints is looking at it as like, okay, we need to go ahead and get these positions filled. Not too many quarterbacks in this draft, so we really can't go out and get a quarterback. Plus, they thought that Willis was probably going to be drafted early anyway.
Well, they got
So,
arguably the best receiver in the league in Cooper Cup.
right,
You got Matthew Stafford, who's rejuvenated his career.
right.
Look,
So they looking to win. They looking to win now, especially the NFC. We got to contend. So
and you got
the
Aaron
Saints are
Donald.
looking. Yeah.
So
So they looking to win now. They're looking to go up to Los Angeles and possibly contend against them. So we need to beef up the offensive line. We need to get some weapons that can handle these guys and make sure we're straight. Uh, Saints probably will worry about the future later. If next year that the draft becomes quarterback loaded, which you never know, they might go ahead and draft the quarterback for the future unless they find one. But there was only two quarterbacks in this draft that was really noticed. So I'm cool with it. If we couldn't get them, we'll probably pick somewhere else. But right now, we solid with a quarterback. Let's stick with him, see what happens. Let's get a full season out of him, and then we'll move on from there.
Understood. What other did you have any other thing that you was noticing about the NFL draft? I like the fact that they had a lot of these trades going on. Uh
Go ahead and
no
bring
Baker
go ahead and bring up
Mayfield.
that team. Go ahead and bring up the team. Go ahead and bring up the team because you brought them up earlier. Go ahead and bring
What
them up.
team? What
Oh, the
team?
Tennessee Titans. Go ahead and bring them up because you mentioned a comment. I'm really interested to hear what Ryan Tannehill had to say. What did Ryan
Well,
Tannehill have to say about
so
that
the,
pick
the
in the third
Titans,
round?
yeah, right. So the Titans drafted Liberty quarterback Malik Willis in the third round after he
Mhm.
fell. I think it was a mistake. I think that might be a fuel to his fire for him. He is a short quarterback, but I think the Kyler Murrays out there kind of proved that you can have a short quarterback if you use them right. Um, the dude got a lot of intangibles. He got a big arm. He's fast. He's athletic. He has the main things that you need. Everything else you can kind of teach. So I'm surprised nobody took a fly on him earlier. For him to fall into the third round to a run first team, I think that's deadly in a way because like look at Tennessee, man. Tennessee uh may not have a lot of faith in Tannehill. And Ryan Tannehill showed what he thought about it. He said, "Hey, look, ain't my job to fucking teach a rookie to be a coach him up, pretty much." In so many words, that's what he said. And he
Uh,
pulled up the quote.
because it ain't your job to coach him up. That wasn't your job in the first place because you weren't doing your damn job. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all need to get off of this Ryan Tannehill bandwagon as soon as possible because a lot of people y'all giving him too much fucking credit when he don't even deserve it. Let me tell you, no, sir.
Look,
Listen, no, listen to me.
nobody has given Ryan Tannehill a lot of credit. We've given him
Listen,
credit for how good he has become. He has become better than what he used to be when he was in Miami. Yeah, you can make that face all you look. You can
two
look.
playoff losses.
He got to the playoffs though. There's a lot of teams that
Two
ain't been there,
playoff losses. Bro, let me
and
okay.
he had
So
playoff wins. He has
so
playoff
let me
victories.
so let me so let me get this straight.
I'm just
So
being honest.
when the Saints play the Tennessee Titans, what's the first priority when you play the Tennessee Titans?
What you mean was the first part?
What's the first priority when you're on defense and you're the New
Well, yeah, you
Orleans
got to check for
Saints?
AJ. You got to check for Derrick Henry.
Exactly. And that's what all the teams,
But they
if you
was
really
hold
notice,
up.
are
So
doing.
stop. You got to stop this now. Look, they definitely won a lot of games, and he still helped. And he helped get them to the playoffs because Derrick Henry missed a large portion of the season. You cannot deny that part. Yes or no?
Oh my God, this boy drinking the juice already.
Yes or no?
You drunk the juice. I ain't no
So how did
talking
they
to
get?
you. You
So
drink
tell
the
me how
juice
they got to the playoffs as the number one seed still.
by Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry was hurt. What are you talking about?
Derrick Henry. And they went out and
So Derrick
drafted
Henry
Adrian
still
Peter,
was.
and they went out and signed Adrian Peterson.
Adrian, stop it. Adrian Peterson didn't do a goddamn thing in Tennessee, and you know it. Stop that shit. You just stop that cap.
Okay,
Look,
whatever.
they had a great defense. They also had AJ Brown, which surprisingly they traded him away. Um,
I'm telling
but
you
they
right now,
also look.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if the Tennessee Titans were to not draft Malik Willis, he probably would have never signed that extension in the first place. But he got traded anyway, so it don't even matter. He out of it, and he glad. He is happy to be playing with Jalen Hurts over Ryan Tannehill.
I
Jalen
mean,
Hurts,
Jalen Hurts is
Jalen
okay.
Hurts, and Ryan
He's okay.
Tannehill is what?
Look, I'm just saying like
Trash.
this. I'm just saying like this.
You
Jalen
smiling
Hurts.
because you smiling because it's true. He
I'm
trash.
saying Jalen Hurts has a higher ceiling. Yeah, he does than Ryan Tannehill does. I agree with that part. But to say that he's better than Ryan Tannehill right now, I don't know if I say that. I think he can get better than him next year. Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Tannehill, look, Jalen Hurts is still young. last year he showed a lot of how young he is. Last year he had spurts where he played fucking awful, and you know that.
But I guarantee you, after that season he had, there'll be a lot of quarterbacks. If he would have been in free agency, would have
Look,
lined up to got
if you
Ryan
ask me,
would have
if you
lined
ask
up
me
to
who
got
was a better
Jalen Hurts over
quarterback
Ryan
in
Tannehill.
2020, if you ask me who was the better quarterback in 2022, uh, it was Ryan Tannehill versus Jalen Hurts. Yes, yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
Moving along.
Go back, watch games.
Moving along.
Tannehill has won games for them. I'm not
Moving
saying
along.
Tannehill ain't the option. I
Moving
look at
along.
Tannehill like this. Tannehill can get you some wins. He can manage the game enough if you have a good defense and a good running game. Look, Jared Goff, fuck, if Jared Goff can do it, Tannehill can do it too.
Oh my
Okay?
God.
So let's stop with this bullshit like we acting like Tannehill didn't do something. He did a little bit.
Oh my
He ain't
God.
terrible like Jared Goff. He ain't terrible like some of these other quarterbacks out there. He
Moving
is good
along.
to enough.
Moving along.
He got them
Next
to the number one
subject.
seed.
I'm not even about to be arguing with you.
Just because you have a hate for that man, that's the whole nother issue.
If
I'm just telling you
it's
what he did last
if
season.
truth is considered hate,
The truth
then
is,
yes, then
he
call
got
me
him
the
to the
hater.
playoffs.
Okay. And what happened
Anyway.
after that? And what happened after that?
So, all right. So, do you think
He lost to Derek Carr?
Well, look. The purpose of what we were saying was that he was saying that he's
He
not going to
lost
help
to Derek
mentor.
Carr.
He said he's not going to help mentor Malik Willis. So, do you
You ain't
think
got to.
Do you think Malik Willis is going to take his job eventually?
Let me tell you something. I already said this in the beginning, man.
How
I'm telling
long?
you right now. If I'm the Tennessee Titans owner,
Mhm.
I would have if I would have drafted Malik Willis in the first, second, or third, I would have called Ryan Tannehill and, hey man, look, we need to have a conversation. What was with all this Twitter information? Oh man, I just it's not my job. Oh, it's not your job. That's fine because it ain't your job no more. You can kick rocks, pack
So,
your
you
stuff
saying
and
you would
kick
start
rocks.
Malik Willis right now? Is that what you're saying? So, you saying you would start Malik Willis week 1 right now? Before even seeing him in training camp, before
Look
seeing
at
him
my
in
face.
practice?
Look at my face.
You stone cold crazy. Look, I believe in Malik Willis is probably the future, but he ain't right now. He has a lot to learn. A lot to learn.
Watch that boy gonna come up and steal that boy from under you, steal that job from under him
Hey,
because he
if
said
he
he
does it,
ain't
then
his
I'm
job.
happy for him. I would love to see it, but I'm just speaking facts of what I think is was going to actually happen. Malik Willis is going to be brought along slowly. He's a third round pick.
Number 17 is what he should have been picked at, not number 1.
He's a third
Ryan
round
Tannehill.
pick. They don't have an obligation to really force.
I'm talking about
him
Ryan
to start.
Tannehill. He wearing number 17 for a reason. That's the number he should have been picked at instead of number 1 to Miami.
All right, well, we're just gonna move along.
Guy was a
we go
former wide receiver transferred to a quarterback in college. Moving along.
Don't want to talk about his favorite quarterback. We're gonna move it along.
Moving along.
So moving on to NBA.
Yes.
The NBA.
Because you've been drinking Drano.
Huh?
Because you've been drinking Drano.
Shit. I think you've been drinking. Shit, you need to drink something else. Is it all that water over there? Got to be some damn some vodka in that damn cup or something.
Let's not talk hen dog. Let's not talk hen dog. What kind of hen are you drinking?
I ain't drinking shit. I'm sober as a mug. But look, moving on. NBA playoffs though. Round 1. Tell me what you thought of round 1. Did you have any takeaways? I know you had some thoughts about the at least the Brooklyn Nets. So what you think?
Brooklyn Nets, sir. For anybody that thought otherwise,
brushing KD naps. Go ahead, man.
For anybody that thought Brooklyn Nets was going to be a championship team, no championship team is supposed to get swept. And when I say swept, ain't no gentleman sweep. 4 games, kick rocks.
Right.
That ain't no championship team, bro. Sorry.
Well,
I've
obviously
been
they ain't in the
not said
playoffs no
about the
more.
Nets. Yeah, I've been not said that. But round one went exactly how I thought it was going to be. Round one went exactly how I thought it was going to be, especially
Right.
with your team, the Utah Jazz, who you've been a fan of ever since
Yeah,
the
let me start
playoffs
with the.
started.
Let's go back we're gonna get into all the matchup games and all that stuff. But Utah by far had the easiest layup to win their series out of anybody else. They were gifted the first two games with no Luka Doncic for the first two games.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they do? They ended up splitting those two games. You have nobody on, and then they got torched by Jalen Brunson, who dropped 40 on their head. 40 made them look stupid. This is supposed to be a great defensive team, and they let one man, an undersized combo guard, murder them. Murder them. Look, they deserve to lose this. I think that the Utah Jazz will probably get fucking broken up.
And motherfucking
They,
crew members, y'all talk about me and my hatred for Ryan Tannehill. This man's hatred
I
for
don't
the
have no
Utah
hatred. I
Jazz is
wanted to see them
bare
win.
none.
There's actually no hatred over there. I actually want to see them win. Like the
You don't
difference for
sound like
me
it.
is the difference for me. Nah, because they fucked it up. Because you had an easy opportunity. Luka Doncic didn't play the first two games, and then you still blow that. And then when he comes back, he's still not at 100%, and you still blow that. So you could have just beat him up all day long, and then he dropped what 40 on your head, something like that. So like, no, I mean they deserve everything that's gonna come to them this offseason. I actually
Unacceptable.
think they got a good I think they got a good coach in Quinn Snyder. But
They about
they
to blow up the
personnel
team.
just did not match up. You have your backcourt is undersized. You got both Mike Conley and you got Donovan Mitchell are both under 6'2". Both of your guards are undersized. You got the same guard combination that was going on when in Portland. Portland was undersized. That's why they didn't like. Yeah, we know that CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard is great, but they didn't have any one of those dudes was good on defense, like really great on defense. And nobody they didn't compliment each other. The only compliment that they did was on offense. So on defense, they was getting torched. So the same thing was happening here. You have two small size offensive guys, and even with Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, he's also another score first guard. So of course you ain't had no defensive guys coming off that bench is going to be able to protect one of the guys that can't be protected on the defensive end. And then you got Rudy Gobert, who you can't even play in crunch time. You playing him the second highest paid player on your team, and you can't even play him in the
In
most
crunch
meaningful
time.
minutes of the game of a playoff game.
You better go
Fuck
out there
out of
and
here.
earn that money.
Blow this team the fuck up. It was constructed poorly. The GM should get fired if anybody. They
What was
should
that
keep,
about
in my
hatred?
opinion, I don't know who the fuck the GM is, and it don't matter because we don't know that nigga name. But I would say this: keep keep Quinn Snyder, keep Donovan Mitchell, and build around that.
Oh my
Trade
goodness.
Rudy Gobert,
Oh my god.
trade everybody else, build some fucking defense around this team, and start from there. That's what I would suggest. Other than that, if not, just trade everybody away and start from scratch. Rebuild this motherfucker. Uh, this team ain't gonna never win a championship with this core piece of players. Mike Conley is past his prime. He was a great player in Memphis. It's time. It's time. It's just time. That's time. That's all I got to say. Uh, but
That was the motherfucking rant provided to you by
no, I
Boss
ain't done.
Man, aka
Cause
Mr.
like
Say, oh look.
I know you. Now I know you talked about Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
Yes.
I got this to say about Brooklyn. So,
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
so KD, and I think KD got beaten up enough in the media, and we already know this already.
Oh no.
Uh,
I will personally vouch for the side that to be honest, I did not blame KD because if you look throughout that series, that boy was tired.
that's what I'm getting to. Um, KD is the classic case of a guy who's a great worker, but he just picked the wrong people to build with. And that was the reason why everything crumbled. He picked Kyrie, he picked DeAndre Jordan. Originally, that was the three that got together and said, "Hey, let's go to
And
Brooklyn."
James Harden.
DeAndre Jordan, KD, and Kyrie. Bad
And J-
combination. Then they
and
was
J-
like, "Hey, let's go get James Harden in the trade."
right.
Bad idea. So you getting James Harden at the tail end of his career. You also get him right as they have a major rule change in the league that kind of takes away some of his scoring ability moving forward. He can't just lean into these easy free throw foul calls and just be living at the free throw line all day long. So now they changed that up. Players like him, Trey Young, ain't getting their usual shot, so they have to work a little bit harder. James Harden is like what 33, I think. So at his age, and he ain't always been the most in shape player in the world. So uh I mean, you already know you used to be a Houston Rockets fan. Keyword used to be. Uh
And 76ers, you're getting a small taste of what I went through when I was a
man,
Houston
last night. We're gonna
Rockets
get into that
fan.
in a second. But yeah, it's just sad that to see KD leave it all out there on the line, and then he gets these players around him that don't deserve to be his teammates. In my opinion, I love that fact that Kyrie stands for something, but either stand for something and stand on that motherfucker and leave basketball alone.
If you notice, I said that from the beginning.
If you're gonna go to the Colin Kaepernick route, then do that shit. Don't be halfway about it. Go and
No,
do that shit.
I, didn't we said this on season 3, and I said, Kyrie, I have no problem
Yeah.
with you being an activist. I have no problem for supporting your cause. I have no problem with you trying to bring awareness to what's going on in the world. I have no problem with that. But here is the thing Kyrie needs to understand. The NBA is not going to allow you to do that.
No, that's not true.
Not while you're getting paid.
That's not true. I think he can do both. I just
Not
think
while he's getting paid.
I think he can do both. The problem is, I think he got probably some bad advice on how to go about it. Like, look at all the things that he done, right? So, like with the vaccine thing, he stood his ground on it and he won. The
True.
league was wrong. The city was wrong on how they went about it.
True.
He won that. So I'm not faulting him for that part. But his effort on the court, his 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 question of his heart always gonna come into it, and his leadership. Because when he was in Cleveland, he had a great thing going. What happened? They broke up. Went to
He had
Boston, had a great thing going, broke up.
broke up
Went to Brooklyn, started off with the right pieces. They had started off with the right everything for the most part,
and then broke
and
it up.
still things fell apart. So at the end of it, you got to start looking at if things keep falling apart around you. So maybe you got to start doing some reflecting. Be like, damn, maybe I had a bigger hand in this shit than you thought.
Well, here's the thing I will say about this whole Kyrie Irving situation,
Because
and you
ain't
alluded
no
to it
way
about
KD and Kyrie should get swept in the playoffs and they still both
right.
healthy. I don't give a fuck who else on the team.
But here's the thing I will address about it, because a lot of people
Right.
are saying that it's about the vaccine. It's about the vaccine. It's a part of
That was
it.
a small portion of it.
It's a small portion of it, people,
Well,
because here's the thing.
it was a
What
big portion, but it was not the main thing.
It was not the main thing. This man had made every excuse in the book not to show up for work. And he's getting paid millions. Everybody has a right to feel how they feel about the vaccine. Everybody has a right to feel about it. Go do your research, consult with your doctors, whatever they say is best, do it. But ultimately, Kyrie got this whole team together and KD signed off on it to win a championship. Now, Kyrie can say this ain't about the vaccine, but you elected not to take it. Every choice comes with a consequence. These were the consequences.
Right.
You lost continuity with your team because you didn't want to be with them. You was basically saying, go and do it on your own.
Right.
Y'all on your own. Well, wait, you got us all here. You got me, you got everybody else here. I thought this was all about winning a chip. And what made it worse, and the reason why people were getting on KD is because KD, this is supposed to be your team. You are the superstar.
No, that's funny you say that because you never really got the understanding of who was the real leader on this team. Um,
It's
and I
supposed
think
to be
that's
KD.
key though, because like there's no such thing. In my opinion, I believe that you can have multiple leaders, but you also got to have the main alpha guy that's got to lead
And let me
everything.
ask you this: out of all those superstars on that Nets team, who was you thinking was supposed to be the guy?
I would expect the KD to be the guy.
There you go. There you
Um,
go. Enough said. That's the whole explanation right there. We
but that's
haven't
just
heard
me.
from how KD filled it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that should have been the thing because even though Kyrie was there first, and they both won championships in other places, as but you gotta think about it though, they both won championships elsewhere as the second guy. They've never led their own teams.
Well, here's the thing about that. With KD, it's kind of like the reason why people are getting on him because the narrative is you left Golden State for this.
I don't fault him. I don't fault him for leaving Golden State. Like I said before, I think in my opinion, I think the team was constructed poorly.
Right.
The team was constructed poorly. They
But
picked
you
the
left
wrong.
Steph
They
Curry.
potentially picked the wrong coach. Fuck all that. I mean, they look. They were KD was gonna be hurt anyway. He was gonna be hurt for 2 seasons. That happened. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not really worried about that part because the Warriors even was fine with losing because as you saw, they didn't make the playoffs. They was
Nope.
fine with just letting those games go by and then just getting healthy and retooling and getting ready for this season. That was the whole play.
That was
So, and
it.
that's what they did. Clay came back at back in January. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the whole key. KD came back last season. So it was the thing was just having him come back healthy. And then actually it was a blessing in disguise for the Warriors because yeah, that's why Draymond was saying they didn't really need him because they didn't. They didn't need him
They didn't need him.
from the Golden State Warriors perspective. You didn't need KD.
No.
So if he walked away, all you doing is leaving more money on the table for them to go get more people,
There it
which
is.
ended up happening. He
There
was
it
able to
is.
go get somebody like Andrew Wiggins to add to bolster the roster.
But it helped get them
Play
2 extra championships. Because KD originally went to that team because there was no ball dominant person. Whoever had the open shot just took it. I mean, you
Yeah,
had shooters in Clay, you
and it
had
worked.
shooters in Steph, and it worked. You got two
It worked.
champions out the deal. Oh, yes, of course, you had the
They was
MVPs
dominant
because you was the best
without
player.
him. They was dominant with him. So they really didn't lose anything. They didn't lose anything.
But
The
the
only time they
but
really lost is because players got hurt.
but the mere fact of the matter is you left a good situation to go to Brooklyn. It wasn't the
He
fact of
left
it,
to
Steph
be the
Curry.
man. He left to be the man.
There you go. But you are
Um,
supposed to be the man and you ain't acting like it.
KD, I think KD acted like the man, in my opinion. He showed it on the court. He left it all
Yeah,
out on the court.
you left it all on the court,
He
but
did
you
it
didn't say nothing.
back to back playoffs. He laid it all out on the court. I have no problems with KD, what he did. Like I said my biggest problem that he did was he just chose the wrong people to associate with.
Right.
And we've always seen that before. It's just in life. You pick the wrong people to be around you, they could bring you the fuck down. And
Message.
that's just reality of what it is. I mean, sometimes certain people that's just gonna bring you down. And you just gotta find a way to either distance yourself from the people that you feel like can't help you get to that point. Because that's just the way it is, man. It's like it's a business at the end of the day with the NBA. So you just gotta find the right pieces. James Harden wanted to get as much issues that James Harden has had and issues of his own. He was fed up with what was going on
Yes, he
with
was.
Kyrie. So he was like,
Yes,
"Look,
he was.
fuck that
Man,
shit. Get me out of here."
get me out of here. This ain't good. Y'all brought me here. I thought this was supposed to be to win a championship, and y'all
Yeah.
doing some foolishness. Man,
And
get me
Harden
up out of
came
here.
there to defer. You didn't see Harden saying, "I got to be the man. I got to be the man." At least not on paper. At least not out loud.
Who
And
decides
even
to
when he
go?
went to Philly, and when he went to Philly, what did he do? He went straight to Embiid. This is his team.
That's it.
I'm here to help.
That's it. But
So
Embiid, he literally meant that. That's what I'm telling you, Embiid. He literally meant that, Embiid. He literally meant that because he gonna disappear in the playoffs.
but let's move on though. So getting back to the first round. In my opinion, I think the Memphis and the Memphis the Memphis and Minnesota series was probably the best series between that one and between that series and the New Orleans Pelicans. And maybe I'm being biased, but I don't give a fuck. The Pelicans and Phoenix series because it just was so entertaining. It, and the funny thing is, in the first round, all the favorites won
Yeah.
on both sides, 1 through 4.
Yep.
The 1 seed beat the 8, 2 beat the 7, 3 beat the 6, 4 beat the 5. Um, even though I think going into the matchup, the Jazz was favored. The fucking Jazz was favored, but I ain't getting to that shit. We ain't getting to
Please
that shit.
don't.
But look, uh, yeah. So the Pelicans put out a hell of a fight. They lost in 6 games. Um, Devin Booker came back for Game 6, to put off and help Chris Paul. Played damn near perfect. In that Game 6. I mean, that man was possessing that game. He didn't miss a
That's
shot.
why they call him the point god.
Hey man, he's a future Hall of Famer,
Yes.
and he did his job. He did his part.
The only thing that's missing is a ring. That's the only thing he missing is a ring.
Yeah, and he got a good shot this year. So I'm gonna say hats off to Phoenix. Phoenix did their thing. They did what they were supposed to. They took care of business. They beat the Pelicans in 6. They enforced their will in games 5 and 6. Period. Um, moving on. Another disappointing series was for the Hawks. Especially for what it was at last season. It was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They had to get into the play-in tournament to get into the playoffs this year. To get in as the 8 seed to get knocked out in 4 games against the Miami Heat. Bad matchup for them to draw in the first
Did
round.
you really expect anything less? It's an Atlanta thing. I told y'all before. It's just an Atlanta thing.
Man, look, I'm looking at this as pure sports, as a person that's unbiased. Looking at this unbiased, Atlanta should not have been an 8 seed. They should have been way better. They should have been advanced. They should have been trying to be around the conference finals again. I'm not even putting the Hawks in the Falcons category because we just don't have that kind of rivalry with the Hawks like that. So it don't even matter to me. So they just a different type of bird to me. So, uh, but look, I look at it like this: the Hawks should have been better than what they was. They have a good coach. They have a great superstar, a young superstar. Um, they'll be back though. I think they got to retool that team though because they had some major issues. They got a similar issue that Utah got. Um, they have a player
Small.
that they in Clint Capella that they can't play in crunch time a lot of times. So
And they backcourt small.
the only difference is they don't pay him as well. I don't know. I didn't look at the money amounts, but I don't know if he's the second highest paid player, but he's up there. But
No, I
they
mean
got to figure out
the
they got to figure
backcourt.
out who's going to be the number 2 guy for Atlanta. They need a
Yeah.
number 2. But moving into the second round, what's the matchups that we got right now? So first we talked about it a little bit. Tonight, Utah, I mean Utah, Memphis and Golden State played tonight. What was the score from that game?
Memphis and Golden State is 106 Grizzlies, 101 Warriors.
Yeah, so
So they tied it up. I told you that might be a
yeah,
gentleman's sweep, or bet at best it's going to be it's going to be going into game 7 or 6.
man, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, the
That's
Warriors.
a fun series, though, man. I ain't lying. That first game was ridiculous.
Here's my thing: Draymond Green got to get his shit together.
Yeah,
Um, he got to get his
but
shit together
that was a
hold up,
bad call, though. That was a bad call.
I would say this: with his history, it was the right
Yeah,
call.
with his history, right?
His history is why he got put out the game first.
Right.
Because it was two different things that could have been considered a flagrant one, all in one fucking play. First, he smacked the shit out that nigga, which I didn't have no problem with him doing that. It's the playoffs. I had no problem with that. Them calling that a flagrant one is borderline. I would have said it was a technical. I wouldn't say it was a flagrant. But then he pulled him down. Now, it might have been avert, but I think he was also trying to help himself, but he was also helping him. It just looked bad. But I think it was such a bam, bam, two bad things that looked bad on camera happened to him, and he got ejected. He got ejected again tonight. I didn't get a chance to see the game. But he gotta get his shit together. Like, let's not forget, that's the reason why they don't have an additional championship on their name is because of him. Because he was over here kicking niggas in the nuts, punching niggas in the nuts and shit. Like, come on, man, you can't be doing shit like that on the fucking court.
Yeah, but you're right. He got to watch himself because the refs is gonna come after him because they know how you play. He's
a soft version of Rasheed Wallace.
Yes, he is.
I feel like Rasheed Wallace would have threw his ass across the court.
Oh my god.
But the Draymond is great for what he does. Let's not. I don't want to put no disrespect on his name. Like, this man ain't no future Hall of Fame. Draymond's a future Hall of Fame. Don't get it twisted. Draymond is a future Hall of Fame. Yes. But he got to get his fucking head right going into these games because they need him to win.
Like I said, I hope Draymond is a listener. Draymond, just watch yourself, man. Just watch yourself because these refs are coming after you because they know how you play. They know how you play. One thing I do like is interesting to me that he does is now he has his own like little interview style show that he does, and he kind of recaps playoff games, including his own, which I think is kind of weird, but it's interesting at the same time. But you might get more and more of this moving into the future. You might get more. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of these less and less after game interviews from the media and more of these players doing their own interviews of their own and their own spare time. Watching Draymond interview himself is way more entertaining than getting these boring ass dried out questions. So tell me what was going through your mind when you were scoring that 2-point basket with 3 minutes down in the third quarter? Like, nigga, don't care about that shit. Stop asking these dumb questions. Next game for Tuesday night was Boston Celtics going up against the Bucks, and they tied that series as well. Celtics came out with a victory 109-86. So we're gonna have a good series in that one. I believe that one there is going to game 7.
And let me rephrase what I said earlier. It wasn't Draymond didn't get ejected. He got fouled. He got elbowed, and that's why he came out the game.
Right.
He was bloodied. So my bad. So I would take back what I said, but I still say what I said again from game 1 results. Got to get his shit together.
Got to get your shit together, man. Get your shit together.
But yeah, Boston and Milwaukee. Boston took game 2, right?
Yep. That's gonna be a game 7 series, man. I'm serious.
I think this might be the best series of the 4 games that's left. Because I don't know, because I feel like this Golden State Memphis series is gonna be good to a degree. I don't know how much of a fight Memphis can keep up offensively because the Golden State
almost had it. Memphis almost had it if that boy would have missed that layup. But yeah, it should have, could have, would have.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I might be wrong. Maybe this Memphis Golden State series might be better, but it's gonna be interesting. Chris Middleton coming back to this series eventually at some point. I think he's gonna probably come back by game 3 or 4. But fuck, this series might be over by then. I don't know. It might be a gentleman's sweep, in my opinion. I feel like this Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum duo has been together for a minute. And they've been causing problems. They've been causing problems even back when LeBron was was LeBron was going up against them, a younger version of them. I think when he was in
Mhm.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jason Tatum definitely is a superstar in the waiting. I don't know if they're gonna be good enough to beat Milwaukee in this series. I think Milwaukee's gonna win. They don't have anybody that can check Giannis, bro. Like Giannis is just the modern day fucking Shaq. like, like you
Shaq even
can't
called him
stop this
Superman.
motherfucker.
Shaq even called him. He's the new Superman now. So,
He's what we thought Dwight Howard was gonna be.
ooh,
Remember how dominant Dwight Howard was. Remember how great Dwight Howard was. Dwight Howard was gonna could get to the Hall of Fame, and a lot of younger uh, NBA fans now are not gonna remember that. This was a what 3 or 4 time Defensive Player of the Year, rebound champ, block
slam
champ,
dunk champ.
slam dunk champ. uh, let's not forget, been to the finals, knocked
Until he met
LeBron
Kobe.
James, knocked LeBron and them out the playoffs. Let's not forget about that on his way to the finals.
Right.
People forget about that too. That was
Yeah.
when LeBron left Cleveland. I'm taking my talent to South Beach.
Just Docs Beach. Yep. That's exactly what he said.
Look, Dwight Howard is that nigga. Back in the day, he lost a lot. He lost a lot when he got older and he didn't develop an offensive game outside of his, athleticism.
Next
But
games on tap is going to be tomorrow. We
Giannis
got,
is that nigga.
oh, yeah. Next games on tap is going to be tomorrow on Wednesday. The first game is going to be 76ers versus the Heat. And Miami leads their series 1-0, as we thought it would.
Right. And I think Miami's gonna take this and go up 2-0. James Harden has to do something. And I know
He
it's
ain't gonna
asking
do
a
nothing.
lot because it's just James Harden and
He ain't gonna do
Tobias
nothing.
Harris. Look,
He ain't
here's my
gonna do
thing.
nothing.
That's one player I think that's got to step the fuck up. And he did it a little bit in game one, but he got to do more. It's Tobias Harris. You getting paid a lot of fucking money.
Money.
They chose you over Jimmy Butler. They chose you over Jimmy Butler. You got to step the fuck up. I feel like Tobias Harris has not lived up to his expectations. Like he was supposed to be, this should have been a big three, and he don't really have one. Sometimes
Nope.
he will disappear on the court. He will play 30 minutes and you wouldn't realize he out there.
And even during
They
the
need
trade,
Tobias Harris to show up, show out in game two tomorrow night.
and even
If he
and
can
even
do
during the
that,
trade of Ben Simmons, even during the trade of Ben Simmons, they still kept him. This
I'm
has
not
got to be
worrying
your
about that
time.
because
Yeah,
his contract was just too big to be traded with him.
but
But
at this point in time, they trade away Ben Simmons, they trade away Jimmy Butler. Man, you gotta step up. Like you said, you got to step up.
Jimmy Butler would have left in free agency.
He would have.
But they could have paid him instead of paying Tobias. Because they paid they paid Tobias that offseason and let
Yep.
Jimmy walk to Miami. Which I think was a mistake. But moving forward, what's the other series we got on
The Mavericks and the Suns, and Phoenix leads the series 1-0.
here? We got the Mavericks and the Suns.
That about to be might be a gentleman sweep right there. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I feel like Luca might get one game when they go to Dallas. I want to see when this game get to Dallas how it's gonna be.
That's why I call gentleman sweep.
I'm not saying a gentleman sweep yet. I want to see this game, and I think Phoenix should take game two easily. But game three, I think, will determine whether or not how this series is gonna go. I
Yeah.
think Phoenix will still win it overall, but it's just sad for Luca because you thought that he was going to get that extra superstar with Kristaps Porzingis. That motherfucker just was paper
Tall for
mache.
nothing.
He was a stick man.
That man was tall for
Uh,
nothing.
Look, man, and ended up getting traded. So we're gonna see. I think Phoenix should win this though, probably in 5 games.
Yeah, I call gentleman. Yeah, like I said, I call gentleman sweep.
All right, we got one more, right? Or was that it?
That was it. That was
So we
it.
talked about, huh?
Yep, that was it for the NBA, and that was it for
All right.
NFL.
I don't know
Now
why I
let's
thought
move
there was
on to
another
something
game in
fun.
there. Well, on another note before we get up out of here, um, John Jones is gonna be fighting again.
When
He's gonna be fighting Stipe Miocic. Allegedly, it's
when
not been official, but it's been rumored that he's gonna fight Stipe Miocic in September. So I think it's gonna be a good fight if this fight happens. As long as John Jones stay out of trouble. Look, the man has still yet to be beaten by anybody.
if someone
His
shows
only
you
loss
who they
was by
are,
disqualification.
believe them.
No, I don't think nobody can whoop his ass until somebody beat his ass. Until somebody beat his ass, I'm saying John Jones gonna win. If I have money on this fight, I'm calling John Jones to whoop somebody's ass and elbow the shit out of him and close the fight in the second round. And the fight ain't until September. So,
Make me a believer, John Jones, and make me see that you changed.
man, look,
Matter of fact, let the world know that you changed.
that man said, I know one thing. I'm gonna punch your lights out. Look, but other than that, man, that's it. That's all we got for tonight, man. The NBA, as we already talked about. Make sure y'all check us out on IG. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel. Make sure y'all hit us up on the motherfucking pod.com. Get the fucking merch. Get the motherfucking hats. I got the black and white one on. EJ the DJ got the black and red on. Make sure you get the motherfucking dog tags. Get the motherfucking shirt. Get the motherfucking mask. Make sure you subscribe, salute, and support the motherfucking crew. Join the crew for only $1 a month. Get you exclusive content. We're gonna be dropping some more content very, very soon. And not to mention season 4. Season 4 of the motherfucking podcast is dropping real soon. Be on the lookout. Follow us on all our social medias to make sure you stay up to date on all updates. The motherfucking pod.com. I'm Mr. Headquarters. That's EJ the DJ. You already know what it is. It's the motherfucking
Motherfucking
pod.
pod.